Evening everybody, and welcome to this week's Scan Pro Audio webcast. Usually I start off with a bit of a news item, but the news item this week is we've got a competition going. We're very lucky to have with us this week the tremendously knowledgeable and wonderful Rodney Orpheus from PreSonus, and he's going to be talking to us about the new desk, the new 32 channel desk. But the competition is to actually, stumbling on my words because I'm so excited, we've got an Audio Box 22 VSL interface to give away and the PreSonus Eris monitors. So we had to think of a question that would suitably sort of stand up to scrutiny and things. So what we thought was this. At the end of the show, what we need you to do is answer this question. What was in Simon's goodie bag when he went to the PreSonus training day? So if you go to the little page, landing page for the competition, you'll see that written up there. What was in Simon's goodie bag when he went to the PreSonus training day? So without further ado, we'll run some titles. When we get back, Rodney's going to take you through the new PreSonus 32 channel desk.
Hi folks, I'm Rodney from PreSonus, and as we just said, I've got the new 32 channel mixer that we have here. This is actually the very first one in the UK. Flew it straight from the factory. I've also got some of our new studio monitors with us and a bunch of other bits and pieces. For those of you who don't know PreSonus, we've been around for about 16 years now. We started in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Cajun, home of the blues. And though I'm not from Louisiana, as you probably gathered by the accent, and we make a lot of stuff. We make software, we make mixers, we make interfaces. We're probably the #1 selling digital audio interface manufacturer in the world right now. What's been very successful for us is a few years ago we brought out the first StudioLive mixer. And this is a digital mixer which has a lot of capability. All digital mixers have a lot of capability. But the problem with a lot of digital mixers then and still now is that they're extraordinarily complicated to operate. You need to have a degree in avionics just to get through it. What we want to do is build a digital mixer that is very fast, very simple, but also has as much power as anything else, even more in fact. And we were very successful in that. And this is the new AI model. And the difference between this and the previous models is it has the same interface. It's the same user interface, the same front panel, and I'll take you guys through that in a minute. But we have so many built-in effects in these desks. We have every channel has gates, compressors, equalizers, and we have that on all the auxiliaries. We have graphic EQs, we have reverbs, delays, everything. That on the previous generation that ran on Shark DSPs, which is what most digital audio runs on, we completely maxed out all the DSP power. So for this new AI series, we've taken a completely different turn. This desk is actually a Linux computer. It runs an embedded Linux processor inside. It's a Texas Instruments OMAP chip, which was originally developed for Android HD tablets. It's used in things like the Kindle Fire HD and I think a couple of Samsung things and so on. This is a mixing desk that you can play Angry Birds on. It has that much power. It has Wi-Fi. There's even an OpenGL chip in there, which we don't actually use. And that gives us incredible amount of power. It's got 64 times the processing power of the previous series. But the most important thing is how it sounds. I mean, it doesn't matter how many bells and whistles it has if it sounds like crap, obviously. So we have Xmax preamps. These are our Robert Creel, our top engineer, designed these preamps. They're very famous in the industry. We use the same Xmax preamps on every one of our devices. All the AudioBox 22 VSL that we were talking about earlier that we're giving away, that has the same Xmax preamps, even on the cheap AudioBox VSL, as we have on our top-of-the-line mixers. So the sound quality is the same. Inside these desks, so we actually put in new AD converters. These are Burr Brown AD converters. This desk sounds absolutely fantastic. It's 64-bit floating point resolution in the audio channel inside. It actually runs the effects from our prize-winning Studio One software. So let's have a look at the front panel, and I'll talk you guys through roughly how it works real quick. If any of you have any questions, do feel free to throw them up on the chat room. I've got some minions here like checking them out for me, so they'll throw questions at me, I'm sure. All right, let's look at the top of the desk. We have gains up here, obviously, and 48-volt phantom power per channel, which you definitely need. And then we have these digital inputs here. You can see some of these digital lights are up. When the digital light is not on, then the desk is monitoring the analog input. When the digital light is on, it's monitoring its digital input. And this desk comes equipped with Firewire 800 out of the box on an option card. We will have option cards coming at the start of next year that also will give it Thunderbolt connectivity, AVB, and Dante. If you don't know what Dante is, it's a really interesting new standard for audio over Ethernet. And it will allow us to do up to 256 channels of real-time audio down a standard Cat6 cable, which is unbelievable. And that will just be able to go straight into the desk through one Cat6 cable. Our new PA speakers will have Dante option cards as well. So on the PA speakers, you can just Ethernet out of those into a router, plug it straight into the wall, and Ethernet to the desk at the other end. And that'll be all you ever need. So it's bye-bye multi-core. So that's going to be a really interesting thing for us. Right now with the Firewire 800, it allows me to record up to 48 channels of simultaneous audio down one Firewire cable straight into a Windows laptop or a Mac or whatever you happen to have. And I was just checking with the scan guys earlier. A lot of people ask me, like, I'm using a Mac here right now, and they work great. If you want a Windows laptop that has Firewire, most Windows laptops have incompatible Firewire chips. Not incompatible with us, but incompatible with digital audio completely. But Scan actually are one of the few companies that have Windows laptops with a compatible chipset. So if you want to buy a Windows laptop, it's a good idea. So there you go. So what else have we got? If I hit the input button here, let me just let's just run a little bit of music. Whoops. Here we go. I'm going to run a little bit of music. Okay. So if I hit this input knob here, you'll see on my meters, these are my input meters. So along this blue panel is what we call the fat channel control. And along here, these LEDs are multifunctional. So when I'm in input mode, they show the input of what's coming on. So you'll see there's just, at the moment, just vocals and guitar here. When the rest of the band come in, you'll see the rest of these light up. I'm just running a little 7-track mix. So you can see there's the drums on channels 1 to 3, there's bass on 4, acoustic guitar on 5, lead guitar on 6, and vocals on 7. So that's monitoring my input channel. If I press the output button, it monitors my output channels. And if I press GR, it monitors the gain reduction, so I can see the compression on every channel. Now where it becomes interesting is if I hit the blue select button down here. That allows me to zoom in on any particular channel. So if I want to zoom in, say, the bass guitar, I hit the select button for channel 4, and now the fat channel here, this display, shows me what's on that channel, what's happening. So along here, I have all my controls in these knobs. And unlike most digital mixers, I don't have to try and mix through a tiny LCD screen. Everything is right here in front of me. That's the killer feature. So here I have a high-pass filter, and this LED screen now shows me what's happening on the high-pass filter. Here's my gate. If I hit the gate, that's the threshold control for the gate. And here's the range control for the gate and the attack and the release for the gate. Here's my compressor. That's my threshold knob, and that's measured in dB. And that's my ratio, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 7 to 1, whatever it happens to be. Limiter, and then I've got a 4-band fully parametric equalizer. So gain, Q, factor, and frequency along here. And then I can have that shelving or bell. So I have complete control over every channel. And that fat channel is on every single channel. And not just the input channels, it's also on the subgroup channels, the aux ends, even on the main bus. So altogether on this desk I have, something like 100 and something EQs and parametrics, compressors, whatever you want to have. If I want to load up a preset, I just hit channel load right here, and I have a bunch of presets. This is the only time I really use this. And I can just grab a preset. If I want a bass slap, for example, hit recall, and now it completely sets up the entire channel from my memories. And I've got 100 memories per channel for channel memories, and 100 scene memories as well. I've got 4 subgroups, also with fat channels on them, and also they have delays. So if you're running a big live concert where you need delay towers, you can use the subgroups for that. And then along the top we have the aux sends. On this mixer, the 32 channel, we have 14 auxiliary sends, which should be enough for most people, I think. Well, you can have 14 mono, or you can convert any pair into stereo. So you can have 14 mono or up to 7 stereo or anything in between. And the stereo monitoring is great for in-ear monitors for a live gig or for headphones in the studio. And this is why we call it StudioLive. It's really the only desk which is a studio mixer. I mean, I use it for recording in my studio, but it's also a live mixer, and it's not compromised in any way. It does both things very, very well indeed. So I use my StudioLive both in the studio and live with my band. So yeah, we have 4 effect sends here, and we have 4 built-in multi-effects. We have 2 reverbs and 2 delays right there, and they're accessible. And I even have a tap button here so I can tap in the delay times in real time live. So it's a beautiful desk. It's very, very easy to operate, deceptively simple, and incredibly powerful. As I say, unlike there are other digital mixers where they have a list of specs of all the effects they have, what they don't tell you is you can't use them all at the same time. On this mixer, you can use all of the effects at the same time. There's enough DSP power. In fact, we have so much DSP power on the embedded Linux processor that we actually have here a new addition on the AI series is this AB button. That allows me to have 2 different sets of EQ and dynamics on every single channel simultaneously. So not only does every channel have this fat channel with the EQ and dynamics, every channel has 2 of these. And what that means, for example, if I'm doing a live show and the guitar player normally plays electric guitar and I have it set up for his electric guitar, but then he maybe does a ballad where he puts on an acoustic guitar, I can just hit that Alt button and it will bring up a completely different set of equalizing and dynamics for his acoustic. And then when he puts his electric back on again, I can go back to the original. Really, really handy. So it's a huge amount of processing power. And we will be issuing even more firmware updates. One of the things, you know, we built the first StudioLive 4 years ago, and about every 6 months we release a firmware update with even more functionality. It's very important to us that we keep supporting our customers over time. And we have never released an update that costs money. It's always, all our updates are free. We want to keep updating this for the future as well. The processor is so incredibly powerful. I'm sure we can do a lot more with it in the future. This is just the start. What's nice about this OMAP processor, it also has a Wi-Fi chip in it. So we have Wi-Fi as well. Here, there's a USB socket right here, and I have a Wi-Fi dongle that comes in the box. And I can just put this in here, and I can set this on my Wi-Fi. I've also got an Ethernet port if I want to go to a router via hardware Ethernet. And why would you want to do that? Well, it's because I can use my iPad or iPhone as remote controls. So here's my iPad, for example, and I can see the entire mixer on my iPad and control it perfectly in real time. And I got all my effects here. I can set up EQs. It's really simple. I can go to my auxiliary sends, and you know, if I'm doing a live concert, I can go up on the stage and I can set up each monitor individually, just like this. Then set up aux2, aux3, and so on. Very, very simple. Graphic EQs are also available there, and I can draw those in, and scene memories, I can recall different scenes and so on. That's all on the iPad. Fantastic system, but for musicians who just want to control their monitors live, they can use an iPhone or an iPod Touch. You just buy a cheap iPod Touch, you know, for 80 quid off eBay or whatever, and it turns into this. And this is my personal monitor control. So you can see I have all the auxiliary sends here, and I can set up every channel and set up my level on stage. So you can just have this on a mic, clip to your mic stand, and set your levels up for your own monitor on stage, or if you're using in-ears. Or in the studio, if you're wearing headphones, you can set up your headphone mix, and the studio engineer can just concentrate on getting the main mix right. Now for musicians who just want it really simple, we have this mode. Turn it this way and it becomes the wheel of me. And I can define my channels and the band's channels. If I hit me, I just say, okay, maybe my guitar's on 6 and my vocals are on 9. And now if I turn that wheel up, it just turns up channels 6 and 9, and it lets me turn up more me. And if I turn it all the way up, like some musicians want to do, and keep on trying to go forward, that turns the rest of the band down. So you never actually go too far. So it's a really simple mixer just for live. And you can have as many of these as you want on stage. Every member of the band can use his iPhone or iPod or iPad, whichever. Killer system. Got any questions about that so far, guys? I'm going to have a drink of water. Or is everyone just stunned in the chat room?
Yeah, no, there's no questions yet.
Okay, good. Hi, Poland. Charisse. I know Charisse. Hey, man. Good to see you, man. Yeah, he comes to our PreSonus webcast as well. As I say, option cards in here, I've got fireware. Now, why would I want to use fireware? Let me switch to the computer. And like I say, all of our software, unlike some companies, our software is completely cross-platform. We use very modern, very portable code. So we have fully functional Windows and Mac versions. Actually, it'll even run on Linux internally, but we haven't released that. But the code is actually running on Linux on this device here. So this is our virtual StudioLive software. Can we get that up on the screen? Are we good for that? There we go. So this is virtual StudioLive. As the name suggests, it's a StudioLive mixer, but virtualized. So everything that I do on the mixer comes up on the screen as well. So you can see me moving the faders there. My effects are in here as well. My fat channel, you can see the fat channel on each channel. If I select a channel, it automatically comes up and I can see what's happening on that channel. If I maybe change the EQ or something like that, you'll see it moving on the screen. Very, very handy. I can also drag and drop and just change the entire settings of the mixer instantly with a drag and drop. I have all my memories here. And I can have thousands of presets and just switch between them. Whoops. There we go. Really simple, really effective, works great. Also, I can see all my graphic EQs. You can see here I have 16 31-band graphic EQs built into this system. The main bus has a stereo graphic, and then there's a 31-band graphic on every single auxiliary sound. We also have smart analysis. Now, if you're a high-end professional, PA guy, you'll know what smart is. It's a system by Rational Acoustics. And normally the smart software as a standalone product costs about $700. £700 actually, $800, $900. We have that built into the software. So you can analyze your entire system. We have a reference mic. You can set a reference mic up in the auditorium, and that will completely reconfigure your desk, send pink noise through it, show you your curves, and allow you to apply the correct EQ to the system. It saves a huge amount of time when you're setting up a PA. That's all built in. And every single channel now has a smart control with real-time analysis and spectrum analysis in every channel. Right, so that's the control software. Well, we actually make a lot of different software. So for live recording, we make this. This is Capture. And Capture is a very simple live recording program. It's actually a cut-down version of our professional Studio One Live program. Capture allows you to just record. It's just a big tape machine, basically, because on a live gig, that's all you want. You just plug a firewire cable from your StudioLive mixer into your computer, and then anything coming into the mixer is automatically captured in Capture, and you have a multi-track recording. You can have up to 48 tracks of 24-bit audio captured right there. And what's great about this new AI version is that it not only captures the audio, it captures the state of the mixing desk. It captures the scene and all of the effects. So when you load up that track again, it will automatically remake the desk the way it was when you first recorded it.
Can you swap between scenes with the iPad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have iPad control. There's a page for that, and it works instantly. It actually the iPad can recall scenes from the hard drive of the computer directly.
Wow.
So.
And a question here from Synth Drum, who's saying, if the mixer is a Linux platform with video capability, why not add the option for an internal DAW with a video monitor all in one studio?
That's an awesomely great idea. I'll tell you why we haven't done it yet. It's because we just don't have the time yet. We actually, I mean, we get a lot of, one of the reasons I love doing these kind of webcasts and doing roadshows is that we get some of our best ideas from users. And that's very important for us because we're all users too. You know, one of the things we're very proud of at PreSonus is that pretty much everybody at PreSonus actually, you know, makes music for a living as well. We're not just a bunch of sales guys. We all use all this stuff, and most of the ideas in it come from our own experiences live. And we're very proud of the fact that we're very responsive to user requests. I think that's an awesome idea. As I said before, the effects in this new AI series are actually Studio One effects running on the Linux processor. So theoretically, we'd be able to run a lot more stuff on it than we already have. But that takes time. So we'll get the desk out first, and then we'll see how we can expand it from there. But we never rest on our laurels. We're always working on how we can improve and upgrade stuff. So, you know, suggestions very welcome indeed. All right. Any other questions while I'm stuck? Okay. So let me show you what happens now with I'm going to put capture away for a moment, and set the desk up like this, and I'll open up Studio One. And this is our Studio One software, which is becoming extremely well known now. And the last Michael Jackson album was done in Studio One. The new Rihanna album's been done in Studio One. It's a very professional program. The artist version of Studio One comes free with all our hardware. If you buy an audio box or a Fire Studio or one of these desks, you will get Studio One with it. And all you got to do is load it up and make it work. It's very simple, very fast. And I mean, because it's really fast and simple, newcomers really like it. But pros really like it as well, because if you're a pro, time is money. And this thing is faster and slicker than pretty much anything else. It also sounds amazing. So this is the Studio One start page, and you'll see we've built in a lot of internet stuff.
Sorry, we've got questions coming in, but we're also finding for some reason there's some glitching. But another question saying, what about control software on Android? Have you any plans for that?
I would love to have control software on Android. And that's the #1 most requested feature we have. We've looked at it. Now, there's been a couple of problems. Now, one of the issues is, of course, Android's Linux, and we do Linux. We love Linux. But the problem is with Android, it's a Linux core with a Dalvik virtual machine on top. It's basically running Java on top of that. And so doing real-time audio over that is quite difficult. Now, I'm told that the latest Android KitKat solves a lot of those problems, but I haven't personally tried it, so we'll have to see. So that's been one issue, is that it's not as easy to program music applications on Android as it is on iOS. The second, and actually bigger problem, is that every single Android device has a different screen size and different resolution. And although that may seem like a simple problem to solve, it's actually not when you're trying to build mixer interfaces, because we have a lot of information that needs to be packed into a small area. So we would have to build many, many different variations of that. So we have looked at it, and we would like to do it, but right now we just literally don't have the development bandwidth to do it. I'd love to have an Android system. I think Android's a wonderful platform, but so it's something we're definitely looking at, but we can't guarantee when that's going to happen.
Is there plans for Poly Aftertouch in Studio One?
Poly Aftertouch in Studio One? Doesn't it understand Poly Aftertouch already? I thought it did. Wow, that is really a power user question. I thought it already understood Poly Aftertouch. If it doesn't, I'll have to look at that. So that's an interesting question. Somebody asked me a question I don't have an answer for. All right, well done, whoever you are.
T-shirt.
Yeah, a T-shirt for that man. Actually, let me talk a little bit about the monitors. Why we've got this. You'll see we've now made studio monitors. We didn't make studio monitors until just about a couple of months ago. We got together with a guy called Dave Gunnis, and Dave is one of the greatest loudspeaker designers of our generation. He holds several patents in loudspeaker design. He builds incredibly huge, expensive systems for very big nightclubs that cost millions of dollars. And we got together with Dave and said, can we build a system that uses all your technology, but put it in a product that normal people can afford? And so we started building PA speakers. And first, but they were so great, we ended up building studio monitors. And the first ones we built, these Eris series. This is the Eris 5, and it is an amazing monitor. Everyone's going crazy over this. It's selling like hotcakes at the moment. We can't make them quick enough. I think they only came out here a few weeks ago in England. They've had them out in America for quite a while because they just took all the production. It sounds amazing. It is. Most budget studio monitors are not very flat. They're brrr or pzzz, you know, they're heavily accentuated in several areas. And they maybe sound great in the store, but when you actually mix on them, you'll find out that you've got too much bass or too little bass or whatever. These are a really flat professional studio monitor at a budget price.
We've got questions coming in thick and fast. So,
we do? Okay.
Going back to the mixer, can the StudioLive 32 be a controller for Studio One?
No. That again, very common question. We were actually one of the first DAW controller manufacturers. Years ago, we made a little thing called the fader port, which we still sell loads of. People buy it all the time. It's a little tiny hardware controller with one single motorized fader. And it's a beautiful little device if someone wants a controller, but we've looked at all the other hardware controllers, and we've thought about building hardware controllers, and to be honest, we're still not satisfied that we've found the ideal way to do it. Every time I've tried using a hardware controller, I've ended up being much slower than I was with the computer itself. There are a couple of really good hardware controllers out there, but they cost a lot of money. So trying to build a really good one at a really good price, we haven't cracked that yet. We do make a fader port. If you haven't tried that, you really should. It's very deceptive. It's only about this big, but everyone who uses it absolutely loves it. And we've been selling that solidly for, 5 years now.
I'll actually just point out that on the broadcast page, we've got lots of PreSonus stuff on offer for anyone. Sorry. We've got lots of stuff on offer of PreSonus on the broadcast page, including the fader port. So if anyone's ever thinking about getting some PreSonus kit, there never actually has been a better time, but you can only do it if you're watching us on YouTube. Please come and join us on scan.co.uk and follow the links to the broadcast, and you can see all the offers that are only exclusive to everyone who's watching.
Oh, I didn't know that. Great, we're doing offers. I like it.
Yeah.
Charisse wanted to say to you, going back to the thing about the Android apps, that there is Touch DAW, which is an Android app, and it can control Studio One.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you, Charisse. All right. He's definitely earning a T-shirt. Touch DAW on Android. Okay, I've learned something new today. This is excellent. Thank you, man. That's great to know. So anyways, going back to monitors, unless there's no more questions, are we good for now?
It's just obviously that...
All right, they're keeping on going. I will keep on talking before I run out of time. Eris monitors, I don't know how much you guys are doing them for. I think they're about 250 quid a pair. And they sound absolutely stonkingly great. Everyone who hears them is just completely blown away by them. And we make a larger pair, which is the Eris 8, which is an 8-inch, which is about 400 a pair, I think. And they are just spectacular. I've actually put a pair of those in my home studio. They're amazing. And in a couple of months' time, we will be doing the little baby brother of these, which is the Eris 4.5, because so many people just wanted a great studio monitor that fitted on a little desktop. So the little 4.5s will be this big, and they have a front panel volume control and a headphone jack and an 1/8 in, so you can just plug your laptop or your, whatever you want to do, plug it straight into it. And it's going to be, they'll be about 150 quid a pair. Stunning prices. So if you're looking for a budget monitor, do yourself a favor. You've got to check these out. They are spectacular. Everyone who's heard them says they're absolutely the best for the money, and no question about that. Or for people who really want the best, there's this thing. This is the new Sceptre speaker. And if you look at this, the usual reaction most people have to this is, what the hell is that thing? Because I was going to say there's never been a speaker like this. There actually has been a speaker like this before. I believe Uri made a speaker like this in the 1960s that cost, you had to mortgage your entire family just to buy one. And it was a phenomenal speaker, but still never really worked right. We have actually cracked it. Now, this speaker is a dual concentric system. It has a horn at the front, and then it has an 8-inch woofer behind that, both on the same axis. Now, a normal two-way speaker like this has the treble coming here and the bass coming here, and they interfere with each other all the time. So we continually get phase differential. It's one of the compromises we make on standard speaker design. But with a coaxial system like this, it shoots the treble and bass on the same axis. So they have incredible phase coherent sound. The only problem is that we have lots of issues with frequencies. It's not very well balanced, especially when you put a horn in. So what we did with these speakers, each of these speakers also has a Linux computer inside. It's got a full OMAP chip inside running 1024 EQs and filters. And we use that to make an incredibly flat monitor that also has an incredibly detailed sound. And nothing in the world sounds like these. It's a spectacular speaker. It's a real Pro Studio speaker at a Pro Studio price, admittedly, but they sound better than anything I've heard at pretty much any price. I love these. So this is actually the only one in the UK right now, and when I finish this Roadshow, it's going to my studio. So eat your heart out, guys.
Hopefully you've got the other one to go with it.
Yeah, don't worry, I have the other one too, yeah. And what I'd really like is 5 of them to make a surround sound system. That would be great. That'd be for watching the Avengers on, I think. But, yeah. But anyway, but that's maybe slightly outside my price range. All right, so what else we got? Any more questions? People are looking happy. So what should we talk about? Maybe go back to Studio One. Let's talk a little bit about Studio One. So yeah, Studio One Artist comes with every piece of hardware we do, and it's unlike some, every interface you buy has some kind of LE program inside that does a limited amount of tracks and a limited amount of effects. We didn't want to do that. Our Artist version runs unlimited tracks and unlimited numbers of built-in effects and our own built-in instruments. The only difference between the Artist and the Pro versions are that the Artist does not run external VST and audio unit plugins. If you upgrade to the producer version, you can run any VST2 or VST3 or audio unit plugins. You can also run Rewire and so on. If you upgrade to the professional version, it not only does that, it comes with Native Instruments Complete Essentials, and you even get Melodyne for free, which is one of the greatest tools ever designed. I mean, I love Melodyne. Anyone who uses Melodyne will freak over that. And the reason we put Melodyne for free is that Studio One uses Melodyne as its internal audio editor. We can run Melodyne in real time as an audio editor in our tracks. Can we switch to Studio One maybe and bring it up on the screen so people can see what's going on?
Yeah, we are having some issues again.
Okay, well I can just keep on talking then.
I'm going to try putting it on.
Oh yeah.
It seems to be this that's triggering it. I think we've got
It is a bit of a glitch, yeah. It doesn't look too great.
Glitching a little bit.
Okay. Actually, maybe we should talk about something else that we've got. Can you get my web browser? Is that can you see that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you. This is Nimba. Nimba is, as it says up here, a PreSonus company. Nimba is what we call the missing link for digital audio, because we make all this we make this great mixer, we make this great monitors, this great software. You can record, you can mix, you can master inside Studio One, but you can't make any money out of it. And I think we would all like to make some money. There's no point in making music if no one hears it. And what Nimba is for is it's that last piece of the puzzle. It's what we use to get people to hear your music. And what Nimba is basically a record company in a box. It's completely free to use. There's a free account. So if you're making music and would like people to hear it, just go to nimbit.com and sign up for a free account. And what that allows you to do is to upload your tracks. Now, if you have Studio One directly with Nimba, and you can upload from the mastering section of Studio One into the Nimba system, or you can just use it with normal WAV files. Once you've done that, you can create a store for yourself to sell your MP3s. Now, that's all very nice, and it's like Lego, it's easy to do, but the problem is getting your fans to come to that store. So instead of doing that, we go the opposite way. We go to where your fans are, which is Facebook. So your Nimbit store becomes a Facebook application and runs inside your own band's Facebook page, and it allows you to do marketing and promotion, sell concert tickets, sell MP3s, t-shirts, whatever, via Facebook, just using that platform. So if you've got some music you want people to hear, or just even give it away,
do they do CD replication?
We do CD replication in the USA right now. If you're a USA user, we can manufacture CDs and sell them out of our warehouse. In Europe, we don't do CD replication yet. However, if you have CDs and you want to sell them, you can set it up as a sales system for yourself, so people can buy the CD and then you fulfill the order yourself. We have all that built in. So it's a really good system. People should check it out. It's got some great video tutorials that will show you how to do it. So even if you're not particularly web savvy, you can set up and have a store running in 20 minutes, half an hour.
Hiram's just throwing some questions in, going back to the software, saying, isn't it about time that DAWs use OSC for remote interfacing and control instead of the limits of MIDI?
That's a really good point. I mean, actually, I love MIDI. I absolutely adore MIDI. I think MIDI is the coolest thing ever. And MIDI is one of the very few times in our industry that a whole bunch of competitors got together and created something that everyone can use. And it's a standard that stood the test of time. So, yeah, okay, MIDI has limited resolution on the faders and stuff like that. I understand all its limitations, but it works, and it works really well. Yeah, there's OSC. I mean, there's things like Yukon protocol that uses Ethernet control. There's many people have tried to get around that, and OSC is one of the better ways to get around it. We've just, in Studio One 2.6, that came out last week, I think, one of the things we've done with Studio One 2.6 is really revamp the control interface. We want to make Studio One be pretty much controlled by anything. So we now have a full Mackie control and Huey control, which allows you, I mean, completely integrated, which allows you to use things like the SSL Nucleus or the Euphonics hardware controllers, and all of the standard Pro controllers will now work absolutely out of the box. And we also have, with MIDI control, we have, I would say, the best MIDI control implementation in the business. You can make any device, control any device really, really quickly. It takes a few minutes. That's actually one of the coolest features that we have in there. OSC, let's see. It's definitely a cool protocol.
That's it. We have a couple of comments about the freedom of OSC, but you've already...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm all for freedom. It's a good thing.
Now, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Which
It would seem that although we've managed to get rid of the glitching, it seems to be your computer feed that's causing it to mess up. So if there's anything more that you want to cover without using the computer feed.
I think we've covered most of it, everything so far. I mean, unless anyone's got any last questions. Yeah, I mean, is everybody happy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think
all right.
That's been fantastic. And certainly the level that's gone into this. I have actually got a question, because I'm sat here doing the live mixing on one of the 16.4.2 Studio Lives.
Rock on, yeah. You're actually hearing it through a Studio Live every time. Okay, I like that.
What physically is the difference between the 16? What have you implemented specifically that isn't in this, that is in the 32?
Okay, a few things. I mean, one of the things on the 16.4.2, because it's a much smaller desk, there are just less knobs. So you have, for example, you have less EQ knobs. The EQ isn't as detailed on that 16.4.2. On the new 16.4.2, the front panel is the same, but internally it's running the full fat channel that this one has. So you have a full featured 4-band, fully parametric EQ, which you can control via software, for example. Also, you can save the entire scenes within the live recording. Now, and if you go to Studio One, for example, if you do a live recording in Capture and now open it in Studio One, because that live recording was made this desk now runs Studio One plugins. When you open up the live recording in Studio One, every mixer channel has a fat channel on it, has this fat channel. So it duplicates exactly what happened on the mixer. So when you open Studio One, even if you don't have the mixer connected, it will sound exactly the way you recorded it, and you can remix starting from that starting point. You can do wireless directly without needing a computer. You can add option cards. You have way more graphic EQs and effects and so on. So there's a considerable amount of difference, and there's better AD converters, so it'll sound even better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That was fantastic. We have got a couple more that have come in. What about remote control documentation? I need to tweak Alesis master control cooperation with S1.
Okay, that's a really good question. If you, well, I tell you what, simplest thing to do, write me an email, Rodney@PreSonus.com. Write me an email. I will send it to the development team, and we'll see what we can get, what documentation we can get to you. Because absolutely. If you want to write some remote control parameters, absolutely, we want to help. There is a website called Studio One Tweaks, which is run by a bunch of users, because we have a lot of tweakability in the system. And so if you just do a search for Studio One Tweaks, go to that website, and they have a lot of documentation there and a lot of projects that are in progress right now that maybe somebody's already working on it, maybe somebody else would like to help. It's worth trying it out and see. We absolutely encourage people to tweak Studio One and add their own stuff to it. It's a wonderful thing.
Fantastic.
Entitled.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for that, Rodney.
Thanks, guys. It's been great.
Stay there.
We'll, if you stay there, we'll run some titles, and then we're going to come back with details of the competition.
Hi, everybody. So thanks once again to Rodney. That was incredibly informative. And thanks to all of you for your questions. I'm constantly amazed week in, week out at the level of information you guys require, and it's heartening to see. So let's go back to the competition finally. We are giving away some great PreSonus kit. And to my quick estimations, it's got to be worth around 500 quid. It includes some Eris monitors and the audio box interface. So the question we asked was, when Simon went to the PreSonus training day, what was in his goodie bag? Well, the answer was there was a lot of things in there, but dirty rice is all I shall say. Dirty rice.
In fact, all of the items that are on that list were in Simon's goodie bag. I've got to say, that's the kind of goodie bag that I want. I don't want a pen. What I want is dirty rice.
So it only remains for me to thank everybody today, Rodney once again, all the guys from PreSonus who came on down, and we will be with you again next week. And until then, thanks for watching.
Korg Volkers next week.
Korg Volkers next week.
Okay, nice one. We're out of there.